Well, bonjour à tous et à toutes. Guys, here is our list of end of chapter 1 vocabulary words. I wanted to go through these 24 terms and talk about them a little bit, but also pronounce them in French for you so you have that as a source or a resource if you're wanting to know how to say them. So we have three columns. There are 8 terms in each column. The first column on the left, we have nouns, and we can see that the nouns are gender, right? We have and une, un for masculine nouns, une for feminine nouns. And then the middle and the right-hand column are all adjectives that can be used to describe, for example, the nouns here in the first column. So our first column, we have un garçon, the word for boy, un garçon. Note the CD accent mark on that C that gives it a nice soft S sound. Un garçon. Below that, une fille, the word for girl. We then have un ami and une amie. They're both words for friend. The word itself, ami and ami, they sound the same. The feminine form has an E on the end, and they do have different articles here, un and une. Being able to hear the difference between those two is pretty important. We have a word like the next one. We have un élève and then une élève, where the word élève, which means student, is the same spelling regardless of its gender. The only way you can hear the difference is with the article un élève, une élève. And then finally, the last two in this first column, un frère for brother and une sœur for sister, with that odd smashed together e dans l'eau alphabet letter, which doesn't exist in very many words. So we don't have a specific gender for brother or sister specified, but obviously brother's masculine and sister is feminine. All right, middle column, we have pairs of adjectives, so the masculine and the feminine. So the small or short is petit or petite. For big or tall, we have grand and grande. For dark-haired, brun or brune. And then for blonde, blond, blonde. So note that you don't pronounce that final consonant on the masculine forms, but you do on the feminine form, but you don't pronounce the E. But having the E there does force the pronunciation. So for again, one like small, petit versus petite. All right, and then our final column. The first three are words that are what they call invariable, or they don't have a different spelling for masculine or feminine. They're always the same. Then we have another pair here, the words for funny, where we have the masculine and the feminine form. And for the last three, I picked either masculine or feminine. They do have both forms, but we're only studying one. So we'll go through this final column and be done. So we have sympathique, which means nice or cool, sympathique. Oftentimes it's shortened just to sympa, and they cut off the tique part in conversation. We have égoïste, the words for selfish, enthousiaste, which means excited, amusant, amusante, funny, intelligent, smart, française, French, and américain, the word for American. Et voilà.